What's up guys, my name is Mark and we're kicking off the top 5 destinations for Derrick Rose in this year's free agency with number 5, Philadelphia 76ers. It's pretty clear that the 76ers need a point guard. While TJ McConnell has played beyond expectations, let's be real, he should not be your starting point guard if you're trying to seriously contend in the playoffs. Derrick Rose obviously isn't the MVP he used to be, but if Lowry decides not to come to Philly, Rose is the best option at point guard available to the Sixers. Number 4, the Dallas Mavericks. Now for whatever reason, Dallas has decided not to tank despite Dirk nearing the end of his career, and the Mavericks not having any centerpiece to really build around. Harrison Barnes, anyone? Since they're in win now mode, they could use Derrick Rose, as too much of the offense was often burdened upon Harrison Barnes. Dallas, unlike the Knicks and unlike the Bulls before, is actually equipped with a lot of shooters. Dirk, Seth Curry, Yogi Ferrell, to spread the floor for Derrick Rose. This will allow Derrick Rose to do what he does best, which is penetrate the paint and generate wide open shots for his teammates. Number 3, the Milwaukee Bucks. This team might surprise a couple of you, but here's the rationale. Remember in the series against Toronto, how tired Giannis was at the end of every single game. That was arguably the biggest reason why they lost to the Raptors. For whatever it's worth, Derrick Rose can still create his own shot, which is something the Bucks definitely need, as their offense looked too stagnant too often, forcing guys like Brogdon and Tony Snell to jack up a contested jumper. While Rose is by no means an efficient player, you'd much rather have him taking those shots than the young, inexperienced guys on the Bucks. Number 2, the San Antonio Spurs. Now because of how good Popovich is, the Spurs are pretty much one of the best fits for any NBA player during free agency. And the only reason they're number 2 on this list is because the Spurs should be targeting Chris Paul and Kyle Lowry over Derrick Rose. But with that being said, Pop has shown over and over again that he can rejuvenate careers, and the Spurs definitely need a second offensive creator outside of Kawhi Leonard. The matter of fact is, Derrick Rose is a pretty tough fit for any team. He demands the ball, he's not a great three-point shooter, and he's not a great defensive player. But if there's anyone that can get him to become a more well-rounded player, it's Popovich, which is why Derrick Rose could be a good fit for the San Antonio Spurs. Number 1, the Minnesota Timberwolves. According to a report by ESPN, the Timberwolves attempted to trade Ricky Rubio during the season for Derrick Rose, and the deal was very close to being done. Now this deal makes sense for quite a lot of reasons. The Timberwolves have reached a point where their young players are now old enough and good enough for the team to try and contend for the playoffs. While it's not necessarily true that Rose is an absolute upgrade over Ricky Rubio, he makes a little more sense for the type of up-tempo offense the Timberwolves are trying to install. And we mentioned how Derrick Rose isn't that great of a defender. Well, the only time we did see him play good defense was under his old coach Tom Thibodeau, who now coaches the Minnesota Timberwolves. The two have a great player-coach relationship, and something has to be said for Derrick Rose going back to the coach that helped him become the youngest MVP in NBA history. This year's free agency will perhaps be the most important move that will determine the rest of Derrick Rose's career. While it's almost impossible that he'll ever return to MVP status, and extremely unlikely that he'll ever return to All-Star status, I do believe in Derrick Rose's talent, and I do believe that he still has something left in the tank, that he perhaps could help a young team like the Timberwolves reach the playoffs, or perhaps could experience some postseason success with a team like the San Antonio Spurs. So where do you think Derrick Rose will end up? I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this topic, so let me know down in the comment section below. Other than that, I got nothing more to add. Thank you for watching MDJ, where we talk everything NBA.
Feeling kinda strange, feeling kinda off. Don't know what's really going on. I feel like something's up and I can only guess the cause. It doesn't matter when, doesn't matter where. Always hits me when I'm unprepared. I just feel like it.